Picture this. You're lying awake at 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling. Your mind races through a checklist of worries. Bills that seem impossible to pay. Relationships that feel broken beyond repair. Dreams that appear further away than ever. The weight of it all presses down on your chest like a stone. You're not alone in this moment. Across history, in the darkest valleys of human experience, people have wrestled with this same crushing question. Where is hope when everything falls apart? Let's go on a journey through some of the most extraordinary stories ever told. Stories of people who faced impossible odds, unbearable loss, and seemingly hopeless situations. But here's what makes these stories different. They didn't just survive their darkness, they discovered something unshakable within it. These aren't fairy tales, they're real accounts of real people who found that hope isn't the absence of difficulty, it's the presence of something greater within the difficulty. Let me tell you about a young man who had everything stripped away from him. Favored by his father, he was betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery, and thrown into a foreign land where he knew no one. Years passed. Just when life seemed to stabilize, he was falsely accused and thrown into prison. Forgotten, abandoned. If anyone had a right to give up on hope, it was him. But listen to what he discovered in that pit of despair. In Genesis 50 verse 20, after years of unimaginable hardship, he looked back and said something profound. "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." This man, let's call him the dreamer, learned that our deepest wounds can become the very places where God writes our greatest purpose stories. His betrayal didn't destroy him, it positioned him to save entire nations from famine. What if the thing that's breaking you right now is actually setting you up for something you can't yet see? What if your pain has a purpose you haven't discovered yet? Here's another story that will pierce your heart with hope. A young woman lost her husband, her security, her future. Everything that defined her world was gone. She was left with nothing but an elderly mother-in-law and a choice: retreat into bitterness or step into an unknown future. She made a decision that changed history. She said words that have echoed through millennia. "Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God." This woman, let's call her the loyal one, discovered that loyalty in loss creates legacy. Her story, found in the book of Ruth, shows us that our greatest seasons of vulnerability can become our greatest testimonies of faith. From her lineage came kings. From her story came inspiration for millions. Her loss became the foundation for blessing she never could have imagined. Sometimes God doesn't remove our valleys. He meets us in them and shows us that even our deepest losses can produce fruit that feeds generations. Now, let me tell you about 3 friends who faced a choice that would define their legacy forever. They were ordered to compromise their convictions or face certain death. The furnace was heated 7 times hotter than normal. This wasn't a metaphor. This was a literal death sentence. But listen to their response. They said,
Our God whom we serve is able to deliver us. But even if He does not, we want you to know, we will not serve your gods. Even if He does not.
These three men, let's call them the uncompromising, teach us that real faith isn't believing God will always deliver us from the fire. Real faith is trusting God will be with us in the fire. And here's the beautiful part of their story. When the king looked into that furnace, he saw not 3 figures, but 4, and the 4th looked like a son of the gods. Your fiery trial isn't evidence that God has abandoned you. It might be the very place where you discover He was never closer. These stories teach us something profound about the nature of hope. Biblical hope isn't wishful thinking or positive psychology. It's anchored in the character of a God who specializes in writing beautiful endings to broken stories. Listen to these promises that have sustained people through the darkest chapters of human history. The Lord your God is with you, the mighty warrior who saves. He will take great delight in you. In His love, He will no longer rebuke you, but will rejoice over you with singing. Zephaniah 3:17. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. Romans 8:28. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29:11. These aren't empty promises. They're the bedrock truths that held people together when everything else fell apart. Right now, you might be in your own prison, your own valley, your own furnace. The circumstances that brought you here might feel overwhelming, unfair, or impossible to overcome. But I want you to hear this. Your story isn't over. The God who turned the dreamer's pit into a palace, who transformed the loyal one's loss into legacy, who walked with the uncompromising through their fire, this same God knows your name, sees your struggle, and has not forgotten you. Hope isn't the promise that your circumstances will change tomorrow. Hope is the assurance that you have a God who is bigger than your circumstances, who can work through them, around them, and in spite of them to write a story of redemption you never thought possible. Those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. As we close, I want to leave you with this. Hope is not a feeling, it's a choice. It's the decision to believe that your current chapter is not your final chapter. It's the courage to keep walking when you can't see the path. It's the faith to trust that the God who has been faithful throughout history is faithful to you today. Your pit can become your platform. Your loss can become your legacy. Your fire can become the place where you discover you're never alone. Hold on to hope, not because your circumstances guarantee a happy ending, but because your God specializes in turning impossible situations into incredible testimonies. The same God who was faithful to them is faithful to you. Your breakthrough might be closer than you think. Don't give up. Your story isn't over.